Hey guys, welcome to the Wrestling Escape Pod and welcome to this very special episode. In fact, it's so special, totally unplanned like this. I didn't expect this to be this way. I was getting ready to meet up with Tommy, and then it suddenly dawned on me that last week he said that he potentially had a date. Of course, it is Valentine's Day at the time of recording this, and so I have officially been stood up. So I'm all by myself, sat here, trying to figure out what to do for this week's Wrestling Escape Pods. But I think I've come up with a really good idea, because I was thinking of doing a best of, and that could have been pretty fun. But this has been playing on my mind. It's been playing on my mind, and it's wrestling. And it's the biggest thing going on right now. And so I think it makes sense to kind of talk about this and I think we can have some fun with it as well. So what I did, and I didn't do this for this podcast, by the way. I literally just put this tweet out, but we're going to use the tweet. So what I did was I put this tweet out just saying what I would do with Sami, Cody, Roman, all of that stuff, right? Because there's so many moving parts. And really, that's the big question at the moment. Like, how would you book this? How would you book this? All these different moving parts. Well, this tweet I put out has had nearly 5,500 views, which isn't bad. It's been liked 118 times. But more than that, it's had 30 responses. So what we're going to do is we are going to read them, right? Now, some of these could be great, could be really friendly. Some of these might be savage. I have not seen these responses, right? I'm going to be straight up honest. Haven't seen these responses. Haven't liked any of these responses or engaged with any of these responses. I've just been doing other things. So it makes sense for us to have a look at them. We can look at them together. Some of these might sting. Some of these might hurt. But hopefully it's going to make for a fun podcast, right? Hopefully it's going to make for, and maybe an interesting one as well. So let's get into it because we've got to get to these responses. So lots of moving parts. What do you do? Cody, Sami, Roman, right? Let's go through it. So I put a tweet out that said, I would have Sami beat Roman at Elimination Chamber by DQ. The rematch is made for WrestleMania Night 1. Sami wins. New champion. Okay. Cody has to face the winner, of course, because he won the Royal Rumble. Like, we have to have Cody in the match at WrestleMania, but I wouldn't have it as a triple threat. I would have Cody face the winner of Sami or Roman on night 2. So if Sami wins night 1, he then faces Cody night 2. I would have Cody win, new champion. Okay. So Cody leaves as champion. That's what Cody gets out of WrestleMania. Sami leaves as the Roman Reigns killer. And we have said quite a few times, whoever beats Roman is a made man. If you can go around and brag about the fact that you beat Roman, you've achieved something that no one has been able to achieve since Roman turned heel and came back in like 2020. 2021, whenever it was. It's been so long. So, and also, he would have sympathy because he had the belts, but he only had them for 24 hours. Now, the reason why I like this is because it ticks a lot of boxes. It completes Sami's story. It completes Cody's story. It also means that Sami gets the belts, which is amazing for him. Granted, only for 24 hours. But I think that sympathy that people will have for him means that we can relatively easily get him back to the titles again in the future. I actually think the value is in chasing the titles, not being champion. If you think about Daniel Bryan going to WrestleMania 30, it was all about him getting to the belts, not so much when he actually got there. Kofi Mania is about him getting to the belts, not so much when he's actually there and he's champion. It's the money is in the chase. It's all about getting there. And this has been an incredible story of Sami getting to that level. We have watched Sami elevate himself from a mid-carder to a main eventer. And this is the end of his story. He gets to beat Roman, win the belts. And the fact that he doesn't keep them very long is obviously a bit of a disappointment. But that disappointment can fuel the next part of Sami's story. You know, there'll be people that want him to have a proper title reign, a longer title reign. And so you're giving people a little taste of something. You're giving them like the promised land of Sami being champion, but you're not giving it them so that they get used to it or it outstays its welcome. Like, I actually like that. I really like that. I don't see that as a negative. I actually see it as a big positive. We spoke on one of the watch-alongs about the fact that when you actually get to the title, it's very hard if you as this big underdog to kind of stay that popular. Like, it's really hard for you to keep that momentum going because it was so intense. And this momentum has been intense for Sami because it's been genuine and it's been a groundswell. And this support is like a movement. You know, it's fantastic. But if he gets to the title, keeping that momentum is going to be really hard, really hard, really hard. The creative, when he's champion, has got to be as good as the creative when he was trying to, you know, get to being champion or was in the bloodline. So for me, the 24-hour thing is not a problem. The fact that Cody has to beat Sami is not ideal. But for me, Cody beating Sami just means it's a let's go. Who's the best? And we've seen this before. And we've seen it before at WrestleMania. Face versus face. Ultimate Warrior versus Hulk Hogan. WrestleMania 6. Face versus face. Whoever wins the match leaves with the gold. Simple as that. Handshake at the start. Hug afterwards, respect between both competitors. This is the two hottest guys in the company, putting it all on the line. Second night of WrestleMania, who's going to get the job done? And the fact that Sami had been in such an intense matchup just 24 hours before can absolutely play into the story as to why he loses the match. You know, the gas tank's just empty. He's running on empty. By the time, you know, Cody's just got that little bit more. Not that Cody is particularly better. It's just that Sami has been through a hellacious WrestleMania and a hellacious match with Roman. And even though that second night match I would hope would be a banger, it is going to, you know, he's going to feel the effects. So, love everything about this. Whenever I put a tweet out or we're talking about stuff, this stuff has been well thought through. We talk about wrestling so much all the time. We're constantly pondering things that, you know, this isn't just something that's just been thrown together. So that's why I'm kind of interested in the replies to see, do people like it? Do they not like it? If they don't, what's their concerns? What are the other things people are talking about? So I think it gives you an idea of what we're going to try and do here, right? So something very, very different for the Wrestling Escape Pods. But actually something we if this works, we could look to do again in the future, where we could put a tweet out and just read through the responses, the good, the bads, the constructive, and take it from there. So let's get into this. I have not seen these. If there are swear words, I'm going to say now, I apologize. I have not seen these, right? I could be getting called an effing anything, right? I really don't know. So let's start going through and see what people's responses are. So Damage Control here says, shout out to you. By the way, I mean, I'm going to be shouting people out. No shade here on anyone. Even like if you disagree, that's what wrestling's about, is different opinions. You know, that's a big part of wrestling. So I don't want you to worry about, oh my God, when he gets to mine, he's going to rip me apart or anything. Like, I'm not bothered. Don't worry about it. Right? Let's see what people have got to say. So Damage Control said, interesting idea. Wouldn't that make Cody rather heelish? My response to that would be, no, not if it's done the right way. So, you know, Cody is ready to face whoever wins. I mean, like right now, he might face Sami now. I mean, at the time of recording this, the Elimination Chamber is this weekend. Sami could win. He could win, and then Cody has got to face Sami at WrestleMania anyway. So this isn't Cody's fault. Cody's just beating the person that's got the belt that's in front of him. So he's got to be ready to face Sami. He's got to be ready to face Roman. And if that match does go down on the second night, Cody wouldn't be a heel. He would just be ready to, a good sporting contest against whoever. Again, we've seen face versus face before. It's obviously something that we don't get that often, but it would be a handshake before. There would be hugs afterwards. They'd both be celebrating in the ring. They both would have achieved massive things at WrestleMania. Cody leaves with the belts. Sami leaves with a lot as well, though. He leaves having been a world champion, granted for 24 hours. He leaves as the Roman killer, though, and you can't take that away from him. And he leaves as the guy that main evented 2 nights of WrestleMania. In fact, no one's ever done it. No one has ever main evented 2 nights of WrestleMania. That would make Sami the first. So I don't think, as long as it's presented the right way, and obviously there's no cheating in that second match, and I wouldn't expect there to be, I can't see why Cody would be leaving as a heel. Mike says, perfection, so Mike likes it. KJ says, I agree, so KJ likes it. LS Dub, shout out to you, said, I really like the idea. If it happened, I wouldn't have an issue with it. But I think the large majority of people would be unsatisfied with the short title reign, and it excludes the tag titles. It kind of leaves them in the dirt. My idea is the tweet below. Let's have a look. So LS Dub, let me just see if this is showing on screen. Yes, it is. Good. LS Dub is proposing night 1 we do Sami and Kevin against the Usos. Sami and Kevin win. Also on night 1 we get Roman Cody, but only for the WWE title, and Cody wins. Roman Sami only for the Universal, and Sami wins. This way the tag titles are included, whilst it also makes sense that Sami would wrestle 2 matches like Roman. I don't mind that, to be honest. My only problem I have with that, and I don't mind that, it's not that it doesn't grab me quite as much personally, because right now Cody has won the right to fight for the Undisputed Universal Championship. He won the Rumble. The graphics are out there. No graphics can be changed, but he is competing for both belts. I don't know. What we don't have right now is the reason why Cody only fights for the WWE title, or the reason why Sami only fights for the Universal title. The other thing I would say as well is that this would make Sami the tag team champ and the Universal champ. And I don't know if that's the right way forward. We've kind of just had the bloodline tie up all of the belts. They've tied up all of the titles. I don't know that if we are moving away from the bloodline now, that I want to see one person with all the belts, like Sami with the Universal and with the tag belt. Kevin Owens got the other tag belts. It doesn't really bother me personally that the tag titles aren't included in this. For me, I want Sami to get revenge on Roman. I don't have if anything, Jey at the moment has actually been a great support to Sami. So where we are right now, I don't think Sami would want to take that tag title away from Jey. We know that Jey, or at least we believe Jey, isn't going to cost Sami at Elimination Chamber, because we don't think the Usos are allowed into the country of Canada. So I don't think Jey's going to cost Sami at Elimination Chamber. So again, I need a reason why Sami is going after the tag belts, because I just right now don't think he would want to take that away from Jey. I need a reason as to why we're only defending one belt on night 1 and just another belt on night 2 when Cody's won the Rumble, and at the moment it's being advertised that he gets to go for both. So there's a few things there that I would need sorting out, smoothing out. And then is it right that Sami leaves WrestleMania with a tag belt and a Universal Championship? Is it right that it's kind of getting put onto that same person? So that would be my rebuttal of that. I feel about LSW's idea the same way LSW feels about my idea. If it goes that way, I don't mind it, but it wouldn't be my first choice. And I think we're kind of on the same page. I think the way me and LSW are is that we're looking at each other's ideas going, I see you. But we've probably got alternatives that we favor. So good comment, though. Love that comment, LSW, and gave me something to think about, get my teeth into. Barry said, if you do 2 matches for Roman on night 2, it won't be as special because night 1 would be that moment Roman got pinned for the first time in 2 years. Night 2 wouldn't be as special. Don't know, to be honest, because I sort of feel like Cody winning the title is going to be a big moment. I understand that Roman losing is going to be absolutely huge, but I mean, you can make sure that the card is very strong on night 2. And I can't imagine that Cody winning the title on night 2 is going to be seen as a disappointment. Him beating Sami, looking up at the heavens, tears rolling down his face, of Rhodes finally getting the belt. I don't see that as being like underwhelming. I don't see that as being a flat main event. I see it as being like, a really intriguing battle. Dare I say, a match that a lot of people probably aren't expecting us to get between Sami and Cody. Of all the options on the table, I've heard people talking about triple threats. I've heard people talking about Sami not getting involved in the main event scene at WrestleMania at all. This is not easy to book, by the way. I mean, let's put it out there, because we keep saying this, we're talking about so many moving parts. But I do agree that Roman losing is going to be absolutely huge. It's going to be this massive moment. But if anything, like the news of Roman losing, the fact there's a new champion, like that going out onto social media night 1, I mean, there's a chance you might just hit a few people because it's such big news. There might be some people don't even know WrestleMania has been going on. Oh my God, look at this massive news. Did you know night 2 is tonight? Check it out. The new champ's defending against Cody Rhodes. So I don't mind that personally. I don't think that would be I wouldn't find that underwhelming. I just think that it would be a massive thing that had happened, and we've got another massive thing coming up. But it's an interesting perspective because undoubtedly there would be people out there that would see night 2 maybe as a bit of a come down after Roman finally losing. But as I said, I mean, like you could put the Bray match on night 2. People love Bray Wyatt, and so you could put the Bray match on night 2. That would boost up night 2. You could have, I don't know, John Cena, Austin Theory on night 2. There's ways that you can play the card around so that, you have plenty for people on night 2. Kid Fury said, that would be great. Many fans would agree. That's very kind. So far, these are all right, That's actually amazing. That's very nice. Here we go. Godly said, nah, Jey beats Roman for the Universal Championship. End of story. Now, I'm expecting Jey to be mentioned a few times here because he is another person very much involved in this story. I am going to upset people. I don't think Jey can be the champ. I don't think he can be the champ because I don't think that the focus has been on him with the same intensity that it's been on Sami. Like, if you think about the build, we've not been getting Jey chants. We got one the other week when Sami was being beaten up. But other than that, we don't get Jey chants. We get Usi chants, which is Sami related. We get Sami chants. Like, Sami is the one that has built himself here. Sami is the one that has elevated himself whilst being in the bloodline. Jey was brilliant for the story at the start, and then he fell in line. And then like his brother came along and, all of this kind of stuff. I don't see Jey at that level. I don't see Jey at that level. This is about Sami completing his story. Look at the promo on Monday. It was Cody and Sami. Jey, not in sight. Jey came back, rejoined his brother. He doesn't know what he's doing with the bloodline. Jey is clearly conflicted, but he's conflicted about, do I want to be with my brother in this team and with the bloodline, or do I just want to be with my brother in this team? Like, it doesn't feel like Jey is a serious singles competitor. It doesn't seem like that's the direction we're going. Because if we were going to do it, we would have just done it. Like, when he walked off, that was his opportunity to go solo and stay solo and go for belts and all of that kind of stuff. We haven't done it. He's gone back to his brother. He's gone back to the Usos. He's gone back to that tag team. So this is hard enough already, trying to get Cody and trying to get Sami in, trying to get all of these spinning plates going. Jey is just a non-factor to me. He's a part of the story, but he's in the Usos. And I expect the Usos to defend the tag titles at WrestleMania. I don't expect Jey to be the one that dethrones Roman. Jacob said, I kind of have the same idea, but why not have Roman squash Sami on Saturday, humiliate Sami in front of his hometown? Sami said Roman has made it personal. He doesn't care about the titles. He just wants to be the one who beats Roman. Why wouldn't I do that? I wouldn't do that because I think this is personal anyway. I don't think him losing and being humiliated in front of his family is going to make this even more personal. Like, I feel like we've gone as extreme as we can with this. That beatdown at the Royal Rumble, you know, I mean, what more can we do, really? I don't know that we're really going to raise the stakes further, you know? So I think Sami's saying that he doesn't care about the belts. He just wants to beat Roman. Part of the problem there is that if you beat Roman on night one, it's not going to be as special on night two. If Roman loses to Sami night one and the titles don't change, I mean, if he beats Roman, he should be the champion. If he beats Roman, how is he not? I mean, he would look an idiot. If he beats Roman and he doesn't get the belts, like, so we lose like credibility on Roman, who then has to 24 hours later defend against Cody. Like, that doesn't stack up for me. That doesn't work for me. For those reasons. Again, not having a pop because, like Jacob said, like, he has a similar idea, and then literally asks the question, why don't we look at doing this? Well, my response to that would be, if Roman loses on night one, then he's clearly coming in, like, he's lost some of his aura for night two. Like, now he's a beatable man. I understand Roman could cut a promo saying, you thought I was dangerous before, you know, now that I've, you know, gone through last night, I'm even more dangerous now. But I don't think anyone's expecting Cody to lose. I don't think anyone's expecting Cody to lose at WrestleMania. So, you know, now he would be beating someone that was defeated just 24 hours before. So that's why I wouldn't go that way. Jay of One Stop Wrestling, shout out to you, said, I love the idea. That's nice. It's all right, guys, you know, honestly. Part of me was like, I don't know if this is a good idea. The delusional fan that I am, I want Roman to stack both of them and pin them like he did Daniel Bryan and Edge. There are people that have said, how about Roman comes out of WrestleMania, gets to the 1,000 days? That's another wrinkle in this story. But to be honest, I don't mind the 1,000 days. I wanted him to get there. But I just think that where we are now is more important. This is more important. Like, this is Sami's time. And I don't know that we're going to keep this momentum going. I don't know that we're going to keep him as hot as what he is right now. Cody doesn't have to win it first time or try him. We can kick the can down the road a little further. But I don't know. It feels like the time to me. This feels like the time. It feels like SoFi Stadium. It's going to be, what, 80-odd thousand people. It feels like the time. We've been saving Roman I don't think for 1,000 days. I think we've been saving him for Cody, and now the time is here. So that's kind of how it feels to me. If we don't do it now, I mean, it just makes you think, well, when do we do it? SummerSlam? We do Roman Cody at SummerSlam? But as I said, when do we complete Sami's story then? When do we get completion on that? Because again, if people think that Sami winning the tag titles is completion of his story, I would argue it doesn't even come close. That doesn't do it for me. But I have heard people talking about Roman going on and getting to that 1,000 days. Maya said Sami could team up with Kevin or Cody to defeat Roman. Sami could team up with Kevin or Cody to defeat Roman. Do you mean like in a triple threat, I wonder? You see, I wouldn't do the triple threat because, again, we need Sami to complete his story. We need Cody to complete his story. And so if you do the triple threat and say Cody wins, that doesn't really complete Sami's story. I suppose Sami could be happy that he cost Roman, but there's going to be a massive part of me that just thinks that, well, I understand that he's happy he's got revenge on Roman, but realistically, we are very close to Sami being a world champion. We're very close to Sami. If Cody was not around right now, Sami would, I think, beat Roman at this WrestleMania. I think Sami would main event this WrestleMania with Roman if Cody was still out injured. If Cody just hadn't made it back till Money in the Bank or something, and there's no Rock, I think this WrestleMania would be Sami and Roman. I think Sami is very, very close to beating Roman, to the point where he's so close I would actually do it, as I said. So I think if you used to do the triple threat, you could do the triple threat. You could have Cody win. You could have Sami celebrating because Roman has lost the belts. Sami can feel like that's some sort of payback. But I still don't feel like it satisfies because it still doesn't get Sami to the title. And I feel like Sami is now deserving of the title. I did a video on the Wrestling Daze channel where I was talking about how Sami has given us such incredible moments. I feel like he's earned the world title because the Usi moment, the honorary Uso moment, the trial of Sami moment, the making people corpse, he's been so incredible since being in the bloodline. Survivor Series where he does turn on Kevin and wins Jey over, Jey hates him and they embrace, and this story has just been the best part of WWE, and I would love to see Sami win the world title as payment for that, as thank you for that. I just think him being there when Roman loses just isn't enough for me. That's just not enough for me. Won't happen, said Ads Plays. I don't see Roman dropping both titles. He's taking a break from WWE or retires. Those were rumors. He's going to retire early and do movies a while back. If he's off to do movies, he's definitely dropping the belts. He ain't going off to do movies whilst being champion because he's not going to be able to defend them. So he's going to have to drop the belts if he is going into Hollywood and retirement. There are rumors, actually, he is going to be sticking around after WrestleMania. So I thought he was going to Hollywood straight away as well, but apparently he is going to be sticking around a little bit. What that means, I don't know. But no, I would actually argue the opposite. If he is going and retiring, he's clearly dropping both belts. He's not retiring with the belts. He's not going to go to Hollywood with the belts. So yeah. I think I'm just reading it again. It said, I don't see him dropping unless he takes a break. I agree. There's rumors that he's going to retire early. I think we're on the same page. Ad Plays. So I think we're on the same page. He's going to drop the belts because if he takes time away, he's not going away with the belts. I agree. N8 said, I would love to see Sami hold a world title, but who makes sense storyline-wise to face the Usos for the tag titles? The way the story is going, it makes sense for Sami and Kevin to win the titles together by beating the Usos, Cody to win his worst world title. I mean, my response to that would be, I just don't think that does make sense because it doesn't solve anything. Like, Sami right now does not have a problem with Jey Uso. So why does it make sense for him to take the tag title off Jey Uso? And granted, I'm sure he wants payback on Jimmy because Jimmy did attack him, but he certainly wants payback on Roman more. And he's going to get that opportunity in Montreal. I think Solo could cost him because Jimmy can't be in Canada. So whatever's about to happen at Elimination Chamber, it ain't going to be the Usos that are going to cost him. So why does it make sense for Sami to now go after the Usos? I mean, we can come up with a reason. We can find one. We may find one. But right now, I don't see that reason. I don't see why he wants to take the tag title off Jimmy. That doesn't make sense to me. And him and Kevin Owens being tag titles champions together, this is the thought, isn't it? This is what people are thinking they're going to do at WrestleMania. I don't need to see it. I don't think the tag titles are worth anything. I don't think they mean anything. Like, the Usos have been background players, really. This has been Roman and Bloodline, and the Usos having those tag team championships. It's legitimized the Bloodline. It's more titles and, like, gold, silverware, whatever for the Bloodline. But it doesn't mean that those belts are now, like, prized possessions. Like, when do they main event premium live events? They don't. So because they're not as good as the Universal or the WWE. So I think for Sami to go there it just doesn't add up to me. It doesn't make sense to me, or at least not right now. And it still doesn't shake my thought and feeling of I want Sami to succeed and win world titles because of everything he's just given us, Austin said, no, it kind of throws Kevin to the back. He needs revenge on the Bloodline. And what better way to do that than to have his best friend with him take down an unstoppable tag team? Plus, Roman reaching 1,000 days is the goal. Only Jey should take the Universal, not Sami or Cody. Whew, lots to unpack there, buds. So Kevin needs revenge on the Bloodline. Sure. What better way to do that than have his best friend take down an unstoppable tag team? Well, I would argue that he could have anyone with him to take down the Usos. It doesn't have to be Sami. Again, why does Sami want to take Jey's tag title? Right now, Jey hasn't done anything. Jey could do something wrong, but we're not talking about necessarily, what could be happening. We're talking about where we are right now, and where we are right now is seemingly Sami Jey still having some respect. We saw the fist bump. I just don't know why Sami would agree to take that title off Jey, and I don't think Jey's costing Sami his opportunity in Montreal. So I just don't see it. I do understand Kevin needs revenge. I do agree with that, but I just disagree. I just don't think Sami needs to be by his side. I think you could go and get someone else. Sami could, grab someone else that he could have be a tag partner for him. If Kevin is about to go into the tag division, then, have him in the tag division with someone. There's plenty of people that need revenge on the Bloodline. Think of all the people that has been beaten. Riddle, for example, is someone that the Bloodline wiped out Randy Orton. Randy Orton has gone because of a Bloodline attack. Well, what if Riddle comes back and we get Kevin Owens and Riddle going after the Usos, which frees up Sami to go after the main title? Again, Jey is, that doesn't quite add up for me, because what we're saying is we need some people to get revenge on the Bloodline, so they've got to beat Jey and the Usos, but then equally we're saying that Jey needs to then go and get revenge on Roman, or needs to win the title from Roman. Like, sure, it's got to be one or the other, hasn't it? Surely either Jey is with the Bloodline or is against the Bloodline. If he's with the Bloodline, then he's tag champ sure to be taking on Kevin Owens and probably Sami. But as I said, could be Riddle or anyone else that has been wronged. Drew McIntyre has been wronged. But Drew's clearly in a team now with Sheamus. So I think Jey, if he's in the bloodline, that's what he's doing. If he's out of the bloodline, well, yeah, then we've got a more interesting conversation to have. But right now, he seems to be with his brother. He seems to be in the bloodline. He seems to be in the Usos. And if Jey was on the outs, I just don't think he's Universal Championship material. I mean, that is the face of the company. And where are the Jey chants? Where's the groundswell for Jey? Where's that unanimous support for Jey? Like, there was a "We Want Jey" chant, but that was only when Sami was being beaten down. It's only when, oh my God, we need someone to save Sami, we want Jey. Like, that would be my response to that. That would be my rebuttal as to why I wouldn't go that way. But I do agree that Kevin needs to get revenge. There's a long list. Think of everyone that Roman and the Bloodline have cheated. Oh, that's a long list. Bloodline Forever says no, which, considering the name, is probably understandable. Do you want to see Roman lose? Bloodline Forever says no. Omega Brandon said no. Have him lose, then get beaten up by Roman and Solo. Kevin comes out to make the save. Then we get Usos and Kevin and Sami at WrestleMania where they get the win. Why? Why are we getting Sami and Kevin versus the Usos when the Usos are not going to be in Montreal? And we just saw a fist bump between Sami and Jey. Why are we getting that match? And why would the payoff of this amazing story be Sami winning the tag belts? And why are there people out there that are all right with that? How have people watched this amazing story that has got so much praise? And people are like, let's get to WrestleMania and let's put a tag belt on him. Yes, let's put a tag. That's like saying, let's get to WrestleMania. Let's put the 24/7 belt on him. I kind of feel like this. It's just not a reward. It's just not a reward. It's just doesn't work for me. But the same thing keeps coming back again and again and again. You know, we keep getting that same suggestion. It seems like Usos versus Kevin and Sami has definitely grabbed people's attention. Seems to be something that is a theme that's coming through. Let's have a look. Let's see what Steve has to say. Sami versus Reigns, night 1, Sami wins. Night 2 originally would have been Cody Sami, but somehow Reigns forces himself in, makes it a triple threat, which Cody wins. Oh, Roman wants an immediate rematch. Adam Pearce says you can't, but I can put you into that match. Cody now has to beat Roman and Sami. I actually really like that. I actually really like that. I actually really like that. Yep. I can't fault it. Sami wins night 1. If I'm gonna like this, I'm gonna respond now. I really like this suggestion. Book it. Oops. Book it, vid trips. I really like it. Right. Booking Sami to win at Mania is such selfish booking. Sami is not the only one in this story. Stop forgetting about the Usos. Lol. And Kevin Owens. This is unfair to them. Okay, well, what I would say about Kevin is he has been wronged, but so has many, many, many other people. Hello, Drew McIntyre. How about you stop being selfish and forgetting about Drew McIntyre, who got costed a world championship opportunity at Clash at the Castle when Solo Sikoa came out and cheated him, right? Forcing him not only to lose the match, but then to have to sing American Pie with Tyson Fury afterwards. How dare you forget about that moment, right? So, look, the Bloodline has wronged a lot of people. No one is saying that Kevin can't go after the tag belts. No one is saying you can't do Kevin and Riddle against the Usos and do that. I mean, that's not a problem. But the idea that Sami winning at Mania is selfish, I actually think Sami not being rewarded for giving us the incredible segments that he's given us, I actually think that's more selfish, because we are not rewarding the work that Sami has done. We are just progressing with the plans as they were. The plans last year, surely, when Cody came back, was Cody winning the title. And now here we are at WrestleMania. And if Cody just wins the title and we put the tag belts onto Sami, that to me is selfish, because we're not rewarding the work that Sami has done. So there ain't no one forgetting about Kevin, and there ain't no one forgetting about the Usos, but Kevin is not going to be the one to beat Roman. So that's irrelevant. And the Usos are surely going to be defending the tag titles at WrestleMania. So there's not really a conversation. There's not really a conversation, to be honest. Cammy said, you can't beat Roman twice. That kills his aura, and it doesn't leave anything left for Owens and the Usos. The only man that should beat Roman is Cody. You can't beat Roman twice. I mean, you can do whatever you want. Roman's aura is cemented. His title reign, it has been incredible. Roman has cost so many people title opportunities and cheated them. He is a heel. He is an absolute heel. And we're worried about his aura. Like, this is Roman Reigns. This is the guy that's been at the top of the company for 2 years. We have put him over so many people. We've put him over so many people. And we're not worried about their auras, right? So you put him into WrestleMania, and then you have him lose. And in all fairness, my original idea was that Roman would lose once, not twice. I mean, in all fairness, I did just like that suggestion of putting him in the second night, but I would only have him lose on the first night with the message that this person is responding to. So, first of all, I didn't have him losing twice. Well, I suppose I did because of the DQ. But that DQ was like, Solo jumps in, starts beating up Sami or whatever. Do you know what I mean? We've seen that time and time again. We've seen that. He lost to Seth Rollins at Royal Rumble last year. That was a DQ loss. Did that affect his aura? Troy said, the entire story surrounding Sami and Kevin intertwining with the Bloodline has been telling one major story with one final payoff match, and that is Sami and Kevin against the Usos. The payoff has never been about the world title or Roman. That's not the story you'll see on Saturday. I like to respond to Troy because he has very thought through messages. So I'm actually going to respond here. It may have not started as the story, but it has become the story. I agree. It may not go that way, but it doesn't mean it shouldn't go that way. Boom. Right, Jordan said, personally, I would like to see this just so I can see the world burn. That was actually mentioned earlier as well. I don't know where we are time-wise. Where are we? 45 minutes we've done. Jeez Louise. We're really getting stuck into it, aren't we? Eh? Don't normally get this with the Wrestling Escape pod, do you? We normally get an unboxing around now. Right, let's try and get to some more. Zayn wins by DQ at Elimination Chamber and is cheated out of the titles. I agree. Sami is added to Cody and Roman to make it a triple threat. Okay. 2 falls, 1 title per fall. Cody pins Sami for the first fall, secures WWE title. Sami then gets clean pin on Roman to take the second fall and the Universal title. Right, we haven't touched on this one. 2 falls, 1 title each. It's just not really the done thing. I mean, when do we do that? When do we do that? When do we do that? Like, it would feel like we're just manufacturing this just for this story. Like, it's a bit like we don't know what to do. We don't know what to do. So let's create this stipulation and that'll hopefully get us out of it. Like, it's not the worst idea in the world. It's not the worst thing in the world, but it's not the worst thing in the world, but it just feels a bit convoluted. To me, it just feels like, right, what can we do? Let's create a match where it's going to be 2 out of 3 falls, 1 for each belt, and it's a triple threat. And it's like, oh, that's just been created just to get us out of this mess. And this is a bit of a mess. I mean, there's no way that they wanted Sami getting over, basically. If Vince had been booking, I don't think Sami would have got over, because the plan was never for Sami to get over. Like, WWE don't really want you to get yourself over like this, because you are then disrupting the plans, basically. The plan was Cody beats Roman. That's the plan. Or maybe the plan was Roman and The Rock, but I'm sure Cody would have featured somehow, right? The plan was never Sami. Just as I just responded there to Troy, this, I completely agree, was not the plan. I completely agree. Doesn't mean it shouldn't be the plan. Doesn't mean it shouldn't be the plan now that Sami has got to this level. Doesn't mean that this shouldn't be the plan. So, yeah, it's I feel a little bit like the LS Dub one earlier. It's not the most hated thing in the world. I don't like horrifically hate it. It would just feel like we're just manufacturing something to get us out of a tricky predicament. That's how it would feel. Trev says, Sami and Kevin win tag titles. I think we've covered that one. You're not making your main event face versus face, especially when we have a heel as hot as Roman. You can do most of the plan, but have Roman beat Sami again because of Solo. Then have Solo interfere night 2, but Sami comes out to help, and he could be a number 1 contender. Right. Well, face versus face, Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior. I don't have any issue with that. We've got a heel as hot as Roman. Absolutely. Hence why night 1 would be massive. You want Roman to beat Sami again. So we're just... I mean, honestly, if you're having Roman beat Sami again, just don't do the match. Simple as that. If you're having Roman beat Sami, just don't do it again. If Roman beats Sami on Saturday, just don't even bother doing Roman Sami at WrestleMania if you're going to have him lose again. Like, there's no point. What's the point? Why are we killing Sami repeatedly, right? And having him lose repeatedly, trying and losing repeatedly? I wouldn't do that. If you were just going to go down that road, just do Cody and Roman. But to be honest, that doesn't solve the Sami story. The cop out there is, well, just make Sami number 1 contender. Well, that's not a satisfying conclusion, is it? So Cody's champion and now Sami's number 1 contender. So we end up doing Cody Sami, just not at WrestleMania, further down the road. What happened to the red hot babyface and all of this kind of the red hot heel and all of that? All you've done is the exact same thing I'm doing, but you've just done it and spaced it out when there's no need to, and you can do it all at WrestleMania. You're right, there is a red hot heel. Guess what? He loses on night 1 in a massive moment. that will get the internet talking and a massive buzz, and Sami's the new champ and Sami's the Roman killer, and it's absolutely huge. And then he goes into night 2 where he's going to take on Cody, and now it's all about, does Sami retain and keep the belts he won just last night, or does Cody achieve his dream? And guess what? You're going to split the crowds, right? And I have said before that is a bit of a problem. And, you know, if Cody winning his title, you wouldn't want to go that way. But this is the situation we find ourselves in. We find ourselves in a situation where no one yet has given me the perfect solution. No one has given me the perfect answer. The only thing I would say is maybe you put Roman into night 2 and do it as a triple threat. Cody pins Roman. But then people will be down, as you've just seen, on Roman losing 2 nights in a row. People are then saying he'll lose his aura. So you've got to worry about Sami. You got to worry about Cody. You got to worry about Kevin. You got to worry about Jey Uso. You got to worry about Roman Reigns' aura. Oh, man. Ragnarsson said, I'd have Sami win over DQ or lose and then make a triple threat. Have Sami and Cody pin Roman at the same time, give them both one title. Feels like a cop-out. When do we do that? When do we do that? When do you ever have... You would just restart the match. You would just have Adam Pearce come down and saying we need a clean finish. They wouldn't just... This moment where there's arguing and they come down and then they have to announce they're now both champions. Like, is that really how we want Cody to win his belt? By, like, pinning and then there's confusion afterwards? Like, no, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. I get the logic. I get the thought process. I understand what the thought process is. It's people trying to get a round peg through a square hole. That's what people are trying to do. Just like that example earlier of people of like where there were like 2 falls, both get 1 belt. I would actually say that's better. 2 falls, both get 1 belt, because there's no confusion then. But that match just feels like we don't do that. We're only doing that because we've got ourselves into this weird situation where both Cody and Sami are both red hot. So, yeah, I wouldn't do that. Freeman Heller says, this is absolutely a horrible idea. So, very constructive feedback there from Freeman. Cad said, dude, Roman isn't going to do double duty. Nobody ever will either. Oh, I can't wait to come back to that. Someone will. They did 2 nights in New Japan, and they haven't been doing them very long for Wrestle Kingdom, and we've seen double duty over there. Double duty will absolutely happen in WWE. I got no qualms about that. They'll do a little tournament or something at some point where semifinals are night 1, and then the final plays out on night 2 to crown a new champion or something along those lines. So I have no doubt about that. So we're on different sides of the argument here. Jaden said, what I would do is have a triple threat, have both men pin Roman. The only solution is give a belt each. I mean, Roman hasn't been pinned. Having 2 men do it is rare, says Jaden. Junkie said, I'm happy you're anonymous IWC nerd, not the actual Booker, says Junkie. I'm happy you're an anonymous IWC nerd and not the actual Booker. Again, very constructive. So appreciate that feedback. I said it might be a bit painful. I must admit, actually, that wasn't as painful as what I was expecting. I actually thought it was going to be a lot worse than that. I thought like people were going to really roast over this. The bottom line is there's not a perfect way. What this is the closest I get to being satisfied and what I get to getting what I want. And what I want is I want Sami to beat Roman. And I'd love for Sami to be champion. I think Sami just beating Roman, yeah, that doesn't feel enough for me. Like, he's given us such great moments. And obviously Cody has to complete his story. And that was what we saw on Monday. You know, Sami being told, you need to complete your story because I intend on completing mine. And so we're at the point where I thought it was a great moment in that promo. We're at the point where both of them need to complete their stories. They've got to go and complete their stories. For me, Sami completing his story is not tag titles. For me, Sami completing his story now is him going on and winning the World Championship and even potentially being the person to beat Roman, which would make sense because it seemingly should be someone that was close to Roman, that knows the ins and outs, knows the secrets, knows how to do it, knows the game plans, has been part of those game plans. If anyone would know how to beat Roman, Sami could be that person. And then, obviously, Cody doesn't need to be the one that beats Roman. That's never been Cody's story. It's never been about Cody beating Roman. It's always been about Cody getting to the title. As long as Cody gets the belt, that's his story complete. That's his story told. He just wants the belt. That's it. Don't matter who's got it. He just needs the belt. So Cody getting the title is what we need to do. I think we need Sami beating Roman. I think that is something that, as I said, just the tag titles aren't good enough. I think Kevin can beat the Usos, maybe with Riddle. Give Riddle something to do. I think that would mean that they can then be off in the tag division whilst, Sami kind of explores what it's like being a bit further up the cards. I mean, coming out of this WrestleMania, if things go this way or even close to this way, Sami potentially is going to be a solo star that's going to be red hot. Red hot. This is not a Sami now that I personally want to see messing around in like the mid-card. I want to see him in feuds right at the top of the cards, really, getting involved in stuff. This could be a big launching pad for him. And it feels as well like he's needed this because ever since he came up, he's never really been given the same kinds of opportunities that, like, say, Kevin Owens has received, or dare I say the same opportunities that AJ Styles has received. But Sami is such a fantastic talent. It's just that because he's been in the mid-card for so long, it's really easy to just see him as a mid-carder that's now punching above his weight. But this guy was NXT champion. This guy was someone that rose up through those ranks. And we've just gone and seen him do the exact same thing here. I don't think we limit Sami. I don't think we hold Sami down. There's no reason to hold Sami down. There's no reason to hold him back. So I would have him go after Roman, go after the titles. You're not hearing people saying about how it's a bad idea. His main event in Elimination Chamber, for example, like everyone's like, yep, makes sense. Hope he wins. It's just no one's expecting him to win. And I don't think he will win. It could. What if he does win? How about that for a swerve? How about he does win? I've got him winning night one. How about he doesn't win night one? How about he wins Elimination Chamber? Wins at Elimination Chamber. And then it is Sami against Cody. Roman inserts himself into that. And so our main event of night 2 is Sami, Cody, and Roman. And Cody pins Roman. And then Cody gets the belts. That way, Sami hasn't had it for 24 hours. He's had it a bit longer. We get incredible scenes in Montreal with Sami as champion. And Roman still gets to main event WrestleMania. Sami goes into the main event of WrestleMania. Cody's still main event in WrestleMania. Maybe takes away the 24-hour title reign that's upset people. Takes away the double duty that's upset people. That better? Sami wins in Montreal at Elimination Chamber. Let me know. What do you think? Let me know. I hope you enjoyed this. Something a bit different. Appreciate everyone that sent in their thoughts. And as we said, there's no bad ideas or anything. It's just we're all looking at this a different way. I'm very fortunate. I get to sit in. I can use this to respond to people's comments in a way that other people can't because of character limitations or whatever. But yeah, feel free to put your comments down below or hit me up in a watch along or whatever. This is a conversation that all wrestling fans are having at the moment, hence why it made sense to focus on it here as we are just a few days from Elimination Chamber. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Really appreciate the support. I hope you enjoyed this very heavy episodes of the Wrestling Escape Pod. We'll be back next week with Tommy, of course. And thanks for watching. Bye for now.